Hello, my fellow Double Fruit users. LogiaMaster666 here with another review. First time in a while, and this will be Naruto Chapter 647 entitled Regrets. Now, I thought from the moment that I started watching this, reading it, that the title was rather simple, Regrets. So I figured that the chapter itself was going to have something particularly interesting in it. To an extent, it was. And, yeah, this was not a bad chapter. I would say about as good, maybe slightly less good than the previous chapter. And we basically get to see the Infinite Tsukiyomi plant starting to bloom, and we can see an upward sky view of the moon, which of course is the target of the Infinite Tsukiyomi. And the Kages are on their way on Gaara's little sand cloud, so it's pretty badass. I can't imagine why they would use that. I mean, they can't travel any faster than that. I can only imagine, because Gaara's not that fast, honestly. I would imagine that the Raikage could move faster than that. Unuki can fly. I guess Tsunade and Mizukage and Gaara would be the ones who'd have to use it. I don't see why. I don't know. I just feel like they didn't need it. I guess they wanted to make it look more epic. I just feel like they could probably travel faster without it. I figured that's just Gaara's main means of transportation because he's probably the slowest among them. Anyway, we see Shikamaru and he's injured, and Shikamaru, Choji and Ino are comforting him basically, and they can't heal him because of plot convenience. Let's put it that way. And I was worried because his chakra had been absorbed by the chakra tree, basically the Jubi tree, and a lot of people had died because of that. But I had considered the possibility of him dying. He was even saying, "Hey, Dad, I'll be joining you soon," but I don't think he's gonna die, and the reason why is because of the stupidest fucking reason ever. Because he didn't die. He's not going to die because he didn't die. Look at Neji, okay? When Neji died, he was impaled by those branches, and then he died. He pretty much died the same chapter he got struck, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Shikamaru, however, was injured last chapter, didn't die. He's in this chapter, injured, didn't die. I can't imagine that next chapter or 10 chapters from now he's just going to be like, I'm succumbing to my wounds and then die. This isn't 24 where one character gets shot and then he goes to a hospital off screen, and in the next episode it's like, oh, Jack, that terrorist dude died, whatever. Anyway, it's shit like that doesn't happen in Naruto or in shonen manga in general. The Shikamaru is too major of a character to have his death just appear like that. He would die on the spot from his injury, whatever he would get. And I was actually surprised enough that Neji died. I don't see Shikamaru dying. I know a lot of people have a problem with many of the people surviving in this generation, but the main key of Naruto is that the previous generation sacrifices itself to make the newer generation stronger, and they become the leaders. Like, remember the Azuma Shikamaru Shogi match when Shikamaru was basically saying the king would be the Hokage, right? And Azuma said the smartest thing ever, the kings are you. You are the future of the ninja world. So I don't see many, if any at all, of the Konoha 11 or 10 or whatever the fuck it is now dying. So I don't see Shikamaru dying. Anyway, I wasted enough time on that. Obito goes on his spiel again, kind of like how he did before whenever Neji was killed. So I'm kind of wondering if this guy can ever get any redemption. A lot of people are saying the Jubi's in control, etc., but this Jubi apparently has enough memory to know about the things Obito does, particularly Infinite Tsukiyomi. So I think Obito was just like, fuck, I'm beaten. It's time for me to be a good guy now. Oh shit, I have the fucking Jubi. I have the fucking Jubi. I'm badass now. I'm stronger than Madara, probably. Fuck yes. I'm gonna be a badass again. Well, as badass as a half-assed, Rin-loving pedophile villain can be. But anyway, he goes on his spiel, and basically it's interesting because I believe it might have been Zero-sama, actually, in one of his videos. I'm not positive, don't quote me on that, but he said something like it would be some kind of twist or something if they ended up wanting to go into the Tsukiyomi and bad shit never happened, etc., and it was a good life, and blah blah blah, whatever. Basically, that sort of happens, ominously enough, and several of the people basically say hey, this might be much better if we don't do anything. We don't have to die and endure, and we can live in this infinite Tsukuyomi. And Hashirama's like, don't be a dumbass. Come on. Come on. This is fucking Obito. You're going to listen to his logic? Don't fall for his genjutsu, or you may as well be committing suicide right there. And then Sarutobi is talking about the God Tree from the previous chapter. And then next thing you know, bam, we see a panel with legs, and you're quite the coward. That doesn't sound like you at all, Sarutobi. And then, bam, I was right, because I predicted the moment I saw that panel, fucking Orochimaru coming with Suigetsu Jugo, Sasuke, and Sakura ripoff. And a couple of things maybe just want to sigh. The first of which was Sarutobi saying, Orochimaru, you're late, what about the Kages? You're late? Hiruzen, you've been late for many chapters now. Granted, you came back epically, and Orochimaru just came back. I mean, come on. You can't be the one to just say, oh, you're late. You're totally late. Bitch, you're the latest one ever. Anyway, in Kari, the second thing that pisses me off even more, actually, is Kari basically saying, and granted these translations may not be perfect, but she basically says, I want to hug Sasuke and lick him all over right now, the hell. The hell was what I said the moment I actually saw that, because he tried to kill you. Man, he left you for dead. He doesn't give two shits about you. She's worse than Sakura. She's just as if not more useless. And what pissed me off was before she was obsessive, just like Sakura. She was even more obsessive than Sakura, if you could fucking imagine it. She was obsessive. Now it's just fucking creepy because her face is just like it's just fucking weird. It's just fucking weird. And of course she goes on a little argument thing about Suigetsu, blah blah blah. Who cares? And Madara and Hashirama are going through some exchanges, and Madara says something that pisses me off. He says, oh, it will take about 15 minutes for the infinite Tsukuyomi to bloom, and I'm just like, how the fuck do you know this? And the Hashirama basically uses Ino to do her mind spatial who gives a fuck technique to basically talk to the Kages on the way, and he's basically like, Kages, and then Tsunade's like, grandfather? And then the Hashirama is basically just like, oh, sorry, I know I haven't seen you in like 50 years, but we got to talk about that shit later. More important shit right now. Okay. And Onuki's basically like, yeah, this is definitely Hashirama, and of course, a billion gajillion years ago, they probably knew each other. After all, we do know that Onuki fought Madara, so that says a lot about both of them, that they're both respectable people, Hashirama especially, but for Onuki to remember who Madara is, that it just from his voice alone says something. So basically, the Infinite Tsukuyomi is on its way to blooming, and basically Madara said it was going to be 15 minutes, but we all know that's not going to be 15 fucking minutes. It's going to, like, we already know it's going to be months for us, but even in Naruto time, the amount of talking, the amount of animation is going to last more than 15 minutes, and you could spiel on and on about, oh, well, it looks like they're actually moving super fucking slow, but the reality is they're moving super fucking fast, but it's like slow mode. So basically, like 10 seconds on camera is like 1 second because they're moving super fast. I don't care. I don't care if you do that at all. It's still gonna be longer than 15 minutes, no matter how you want to fucking butcher it up. That's just what they're gonna do. It's gonna be Frieza Saga all the fuck over again. So yeah. Anyway, Sasuke comes back with this kick-ass looking new Susanoo. Cuts the part of the God tree, Tsukuyomi tree, whatever, in half. Yeah, and he's basically just like, Naruto, you giving up already? And Naruto's kind of broken, kind of similar to when Neji died, because he's facing reality now. But we go through some flashbacks, and we see some graves, like Azuma's and the Third Hokage's, etc., etc. Remembering the time at the Valley of the End, etc. And then Naruto basically says, I don't want any regrets, so I don't want to think I should have done something different, you know, shit like that. So that's basically how the chapter ends. Next chapter is either going to be some sort of flashback or maybe even just more fighting. This is gonna be the moment where Naruto just says, "Fuck it, all hell. We need to wrap this up." We do. I mean, I want to be able to say a chapter of my life is complete. So, Naruto, let's start closing. Decent chapter. I'd say slightly less interesting than the previous one. The previous one was a ripoff of All Hell. It really was. You can't say it was a ripoff of One Piece, Chakra no Mi, because One Piece sort of took Devil Fruit. They both ripped off the same fucking story to an extent. Naruto's was just way more obvious and less innovative, and sadly way more convenient. Sadly. Anyway, that's my review. Bleach will be coming next for those of you who read Bleach, and sayonara.